Shabbat Shalom. On this extraordinarily wonderful day in the last couple days as we've moved from very cold spring into already a very warm late spring taste of summer, we welcome you on this Shabbat. If you have your prayer books, we join together. If you turn to page 10 in the prayer book, the words from Psalms, how good it is and sweet for brothers and sisters, for family, for friends, to be united together as one. Let's join together, connecting our voices with each other, connecting our spirits as well. Page 10.
Hinei ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 Hinei ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Turning back to page 2, we welcome Shabbat with the lighting of Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
It is fitting on a day like today, on page 10, once again, the second song down on the page, to rejoice in a day of beauty like this. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. How lovely is this day, Shabbat of peace.
Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom.
Page 20, we welcome the Sabbath bride, the Sabbath queen, with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, mikabla. Lecha page 21 at the bottom of the page, verse 9. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvtzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lech Adoni, likat kala, v'nei Shabbat, mikabela, lech Adoni, likat kala, v'nei Shabbat, mikabela.
We turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu. If you're comfortable standing, you may or just rise in spirit as we praise God who's to be praised, praising God who's to be praised, now and forever.
Lai lai lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
At the bottom of page 31, let's read this together. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed is the Eternal One who brings on the evening. Page 34, we join together, Hear, O Israel, Adonai our God, Adonai is one.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. We'll continue then with Vahafta, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי Vitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
We are in a period of counting 50 days between Passover, Pesach, and Shavuot, between Egypt and Sinai. We are on a journey of these 50 days, and part of that journey is coming from Egypt to Sinai, but confronting the Red Sea, the Sea of Reeds. And as the sea parted and the children of Israel walked on dry land, Miriam, sister of Moses, sang this song, page 40, Michamocha.
Lai 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 la 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 la. Lai 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 la 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 la. Lai 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 la la la. Lai 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 la la la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehi lo dosefele, nora tehi lo dosefele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, mokea hiyam livnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Elianu ve'ameru, ze Elianu ve'ameru. Adonai himlo le'olam le'olam ba'ed. Adonai himlo le'olam le'olam ba'ed. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai.
And as we enter into the evening, we ask God to spread over us, over all the world, a Shabbat Shalom, a sukkah of peace, a shelter of peace. The top of page 43.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu Eloheinu l'shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
With so much going on and happening in our world, it is easy to sit here or come here and think that our prayers may be for nothing. But as Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel taught, prayers are not to mend our world, they are indeed to mend each of our own individual souls, hopefully restoring us so we can continue to do that work of repairing our world beyond these walls. I'd like to invite you to join me in reading on page 47 these words of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. Together with that intention, we'll rise, if you're comfortable, on page 46, as we offer the words, Adonai safatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekone HaKol, V'zocher Chazdei Avot V'imachot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah.
We'll read on page 52 in the middle of the page. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. On the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. We'll pause now for a moment of our own reflection and meditation. We'll join in together again on page 62 with the words of Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru.
turn now to page 253 to offer the blessing of Mishaberach, a blessing of those who are in need of healing, whether it be healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. If you're thinking of someone this evening and you would like to share their name, please do so now. We hold any names that you're thinking of this evening in our hearts as we offer these words of Mishaberach, page 253.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
This week's Torah portion is from the book of Leviticus. Leviticus is the book that contains the priestly rules, particularly for the tabernacle, eventually for the temple. Oftentimes, Leviticus seems to be so caught up in these rules and regulations, and it seems that we lose certainly some of the narrative that we're used to from Genesis and even from Exodus, and even some of the ethical, moral teachings, because it is so concerned with the ritual, the legal parts. And Amor, in particular, starts with the laws of sacrifice and priestly purity, who's allowed to eat of the sacrifice, who isn't, and then it moves into the set times of the year. And that these are the set times that God has given to the children of Israel. And these are fixed times and occasions during the year. Beginning with Shabbat. 6 days of the week you shall work. Sheshet yamim ta'aseh malacha. But on the seventh day you shall have a complete rest. The Shabbat Shabbaton, it shall be for all generations, a complete rest and a ceasing from work. And then it continues in Amor with all the other times when you're supposed to work and when you're supposed to cease working. The first day of Pesach, you shall do no work. The seventh day of Pesach. Then, as I said, 50 days later, Shavuot. All manner of work shall cease on that 50th day. It lists the seventh month, the first day of the seventh month of Rosh Hashanah. Then the 10th day of the seventh month, and that is Yom Kippur. Then the 15th day of Sukkot. On all of those days, one is not allowed to do any work. Each of those set occasions is a day to cease from all manner of labor. Now imagine being in the desert, having left Egypt, and suddenly the rules are about not working. The contrast between being a slave to Pharaoh and being a servant, if you will, a follower of God, is that God says, you must take time off. You must work. It's a commandment to work, but it's also a commandment to cease from working. And that's sacred time. Now, in this Torah portion, in the midst of all these rules about sacred time, there is the repetition from Leviticus 19, just the chapter before, that when you reap the harvest of your fields, you shall not reap to the edges of your field. You shall not gather the gleanings of your harvest, and you shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. It appears that in many ways that's a non sequitur. First, you're talking about time and time off and not working, and then you're talking about harvesting the field and not harvesting all the way to the corners, but leaving those parts for the stranger, the widow, the foreigner, the orphan. It seems like that section is out of place in the part that talks about time, except there is a core motif that enough is enough, that time is enough, and that acquisition is enough. It's a motif that you can't have it all. Mordecai Kaplan taught that one of the meanings of Shabbat, the end of the first book of Genesis, first chapter of Genesis, is that after God had created the entire world, God had to know when to stop. And that's what Shabbat is. Mordecai Kaplan talked about that in any creation, the ultimate act of creation is ceasing creation. Because if you're an author, one more word or sentence or paragraph might ruin the work you've done. Or if you're a sculptor, one more chisel might destroy the artisan. A painter has to know when to put down the brush. And I think that is one of the core teachings, both in terms of time and in terms of the harvest land, that you have to know when to stop, when you can no longer continue working and creating, and when you have to stop reaping the field, because you can't have it all. So forgive the personal. I have a secret to tell you and anyone who may be watching online. We've just celebrated my approaching retirement at the end of June. It's not true. It's actually not true. In fact, on July 1st, I don't go into retirement. I begin a year of sabbatical. It is a final year of sabbatical. It is, if you will, a terminal sabbatical, but it is a sabbatical. To be completely honest. But the idea is that at the end of my career, I take a year of sabbatical, which is what this Torah portion is about, both in terms of time and in terms of, as I said, the harvest. That is one of the commandments for us, to know when to stop. And to know with a sabbatical that you don't have all the time in the world. Shabbat teaches us that too. That you don't have all the produce of the world, all the acquisition or accumulation, that you have to know when to stop. And so too in a career. There comes a time for a sabbatical. There comes a time for a retirement. There comes a time to know when you've accomplished what you need to accomplish and have achieved a sense of fulfillment and completeness, of accomplishment and success. And so as I look towards the end of 6 weeks from now and entering into that year of sabbatical, I enter that time with a sense that it is a Shabbat of my working life, that it is a time that is fitting, and meaningful. And it is a moment when, like Shabbat, you're able to look back and to realize that life is a blessing. Shabbat Shalom.
We'll continue with our concluding prayers of our service on page 282 at the top of the page. Please rise if you're comfortable doing so.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 287.
ונאמר וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
The bottom of page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flame. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We think of our loved ones who death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those who we have drawn into our hearts with our own. The Shabbat Shalom community remembers Toby Klinecki, Lauren Hogan, Joanne Pekin, Albert Orlov, Harriet Bunny Cohen, Rose Helen N. Levy, David Leland Hamilton, M. Daniel Berman, Nate Ettlinger, Joseph Daniels, Bennett A. K., Richard Witcher, Edward Kohler, Stephen Morris Maury Grant, Ginger Smerling, Yaakov Ben Yitzhak. We hold those names and any other names you're thinking of this evening in our hearts and our minds as we offer the words of Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish at Home, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'amad yivarach hirtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalel, Shmei d'Kudashah b'rechu, Le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechamata, Da'miram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael,
Shabbat Shalom. You may be seated if you would like. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on this beautiful Shabbat evening. We hope you have a wonderful Shabbat as we continue, hopefully, with beautiful weather just like this. We hope that next week you'll join us here in person in our sanctuary or via live stream for our Shabbat service honoring all of the many volunteers who contribute to our synagogue each and every year and allow us to offer the programs that we do. With that, we'll close with a little song.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.